If you've been losing the battle against lust and impure thoughts, especially when night falls and you're alone, there's one verse that could change everything. Psalm 19:14 says, "Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer." If you're serious about breaking free, this needs to be your first prayer every single morning, because the battle you lose at night is actually lost in the morning when you don't guard your gates. Number 1, you're setting the spiritual atmosphere before temptation arrives. Most people wait until they're already tempted to start praying. By then, the enemy already has momentum. Your mind is already compromised. But when you pray Psalm 19:14 in the morning, you're placing a guard over your mouth and your mind before the day even begins. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." When you start your day surrendering the words of your mouth and the meditation of your heart to God, you're locking the gates. That's not just a nice prayer. That's spiritual warfare strategy. Number 2, you're addressing the root, not just the fruit. Sexual sin doesn't start with your body. It starts with your thoughts. Jesus said it clearly in Matthew 5:28. "Anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." The sin happens in the mind first. When you pray Psalm 19:14 every morning, you're asking God to sanctify your thought life before it spirals. You're inviting the Holy Spirit to take authority over what you dwell on. Because if your mind isn't surrendered to God in the morning, it will surrender to the enemy by nightfall. Number 3, you're declaring God as your strength and Redeemer. Notice how the verse ends. "O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer." Your strength, not willpower, not discipline, not accountability apps. God is your strength. And if you're trying to fight lust in your own power, you've already lost. Romans 7:18 says, "I know that nothing good lives in me, that is, in my sinful nature." Paul admitted he couldn't do it on his own. Neither can you. When you pray this verse every morning, you're tapping into divine strength. And Redeemer means even when you fall, God doesn't cast you out. He restores what the enemy tried to steal. That truth alone breaks the shame cycle that keeps people trapped. Number 4, you're building a daily covenant with God. When you pray Psalm 19:14 every single morning, it becomes a covenant. A daily agreement that says, "Today, my words and my thoughts belong to you." Over time, your spirit begins to recognize when you're about to break that covenant. You'll be about to click on something you shouldn't, and something inside you will say, "Wait, I gave this to God this morning." That pause is the Holy Spirit honoring your covenant. Psalm 119 verse 11 says, "I have hidden your word in my heart, that I might not sin against you." When you speak this verse every morning, that word rises up as a defense. Number 5, you're speaking life before death speaks. The enemy wants to fill your morning with distraction. He wants you to grab your phone first, scroll, let your mind wander. But when you pray Psalm 19:14 before you do anything else, you're taking authority. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." What you speak in the morning determines what you live out at night. Speak it out loud. "Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer." You're not just praying, you're prophesying over your day. So here's my challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, pray Psalm 19:14 out loud. Write it on a note card by your bed. Do whatever it takes to make this your first words of the day. When you guard your gates in the morning, you'll walk in victory at night. When you surrender your thoughts to Him early, you won't surrender your body to sin later. When you declare Him as your strength and Redeemer first thing, you'll see the breakthrough you've been praying for. The question is, will you start tomorrow? If this message hit home, drop Psalm 19:14 in the comments as your declaration. And subscribe, because the next video might be exactly what you need to keep walking in freedom.